Recording in progress.
Welcome everyone. This is our strength training class. We will be using our dumbbells today. It's going to be a little bit more of an emphasis going on our arms and our shoulders today. Cardio class, I know we use our legs a lot, and then posture and stability, we use our core quite a bit. So we'll try to emphasize the arms, shoulders, maybe some chest, maybe some back, but then that's what we're going to prioritize. Maybe we'll do a little bit of legs, but we're going to get plenty of that tomorrow if you're in my Wednesday class. And then before we sign off, I do want to kind of lock in on the time for this Saturday's meetup. So we're trying to meet this Saturday at Miles Square Park. We'll have the location and details in an email, hopefully later this afternoon. And then anyone that I missed that wants to re-enroll into the classes for the fall, let me know. I have the list here of who's confirmed, and I'll also send an emails for folks that haven't yet. So I'll probably do that at the end of the week for the confirmations to roll over. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our warm-up. So let's start by looking left to right. My neck feels a little bit better. Not much better, but a little bit better. So we'll warm up right now. We'll grab our dumbbells up and down. Neck circles. Switch. Alright, let's go ahead and do snow angels. So right here. Argentina's playing right now. I was looking what time they were playing, and it's the earliest game of the entire World Cup.
Yeah, I'm watching them on the other screen.
Oh, okay. I might have to put on my other device off to the side and have it playing in the background. Let's bring that right arm across. We'll see what happens with Egypt and Argentina. Morning, Doris. Hey, Carmen. And then I see a name. It says Flip 3 de Jose. I think that's Ramon. Let's switch.
Morning.
Morning.
Ramon.
Ramon, yeah. Across. Let's reach up towards the ceiling and lean left. Ooh. Let's go right. It's a trunk rotation, so turn left to right. Ab circles, so hinge at the hip. Come this way, come across. Pump. Alright, big hula hoops, so big giant hip circles. So just stretch out those hips, out and about. Switch. Excuse me. Alright, let's go ahead and do our quad stretch. So grab a hold of your right ankle and pull back. Let's switch. Alright, hamstring stretch. So slide your hands down your shins, bring your hips down, and then lift those, extend those knees. Alright, very good. I think we're okay with those for now, since we're not going to be doing many squats. So, alright, so let's go ahead and grab our dumbbells. So if you have multiple sets, maybe you have some 2-pounders and some 5-pounders, maybe some 10-pounders. Let's try to bring those around, just because the heavier ones we could use for our bigger muscle groups, and the lighter ones for the smaller groups. So I'm going to have a couple sets here for myself. So my 5s and my 7s, okay? Right. Great, so yeah, just have those items nearby. Let me see. Give you another minute to grab those items. We'll need, eventually we will be using our yoga mat, so we'll be on the floor as well. Okay, sorry, I'm just gonna have the the game here on my left, but won't be much of a distraction. Just wasn't expecting this game to be this early. All right, so our first set, we're gonna go ahead and do, I wanna do shoulders and arms for every set, and then either incorporate chest, back, or maybe our legs, okay? So first one we're gonna go is gonna be with the neutral stance shoulder press. So dumbbells are here and we're pressing straight up. So we're not back here, we're here, up and down. Right? We're gonna do 12 of those. Right? And after that, we're gonna go ahead and do regular bicep curls. Okay? And then after that, we'll do a good morning. So we're gonna hold the weight here, hinge at the hip, come down, and that's gonna work on our lower back and a little bit of our hamstrings. Okay? So let's go ahead and grab those weights. And we're gonna do each of these sets twice. So we're here, ready, and begin. So exhale, inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Reset. 30 seconds rest. Next is going to be our dumbbell curls. Okay? So, and then just to repeat and confirm for rollovers, if you're in here and you don't hear your name and you want to be re-enrolled, let me know. For strength and conditioning or active classes, I have Josefina, Ramon, Jan, Olivia, Teresa, Wayne, Kathleen, Shabana, Debbie, Doris, is doing that on her own. Cherise, Mike, Murphy, Nelly, and Shabana. Shabana, I had you twice. So, alright, let's go ahead and do our dumbbells. If I missed your name or if you wish to be re-enrolled, let me know right now. So, dumbbell curls and begin. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, full extension, and 12. Very good. Next is good mornings. All right, and then for the stretching classes or balance, I have Jan, Cherise, Debbie, Olivia, Miss Noor, Wayne, Teresa, Shabana, Terry, Josefina, and Ramon. Okay? So again, if you didn't hear your name, you wish to be enrolled, let me know.
I didn't hear my name, Carmen.
Carmen. Are you new, Carmen? Is this your first time with us?
I think so.
Yeah? Welcome.
Yeah, since this morning.
I'm just kidding. All good. I have you in there. I was like, I see more names in here than what I'm seeing on the board, so I'm sure there's some folks. Let me see. Alright, here we go. So good mornings. Let's grab our weights. Ooh. Remember, we're hinging at the hip. These dumbbells are not fun to hold here. So hinge at the hip. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep your back straight. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. So we're gonna go back to the shoulder presses right now. Okay, so back to those neutral shoulder press. All right. Debbie, are we gonna make it this Saturday?
Yes, I'm planning to be there.
Okay. All right, Debbie. So you were the topic of conversation yesterday because you're a little bit further away, so we're all being considerate for you. So Egypt just scored. Oh, jeez. Sorry about that. So the 7 or 8 a.m. work for you, Debbie?
7's okay. We get up really early, so.
Oh, okay. All right, so you guys heard it out there. So let's just confirm at the end of class, and we'll see. Would you say 6? So, Josefina, Ramon, are you making it? Ready? Shoulder press. And begin.
Yes. And what time? 7 or 6?
7 or 6? I don't know about. I'm actually on Friday. Let me see this go. So we're doing 4. Oh, it might have been. No, that's inside. Wow. Egypt's winning. That's crazy. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right. Again, I don't want to be inconsiderate and miss anyone, but is anyone else traveling a little bit on the further areas to come to Fountain Valley? I know Josefina and Ramon, you guys are by like Downey, so 7 is okay. Anyone else? Does the 7 seem to work out with most?
I'll be there at 7.
Okay. All right. Is anyone opposed to 7? Like, come on, coach, it's Saturday. Let me sleep in.
No, 7 is good.
Okay, Joanna, great. All right, so yeah, all right, it's set. All right, 7 a.m. Bicep curls. Ready? And begin. So. So Safina says she's making tamales and she's gonna have, some food there. Carmen, you're bringing some food too, right? We're gonna be eating off the trunks of cars.
Fruits?
Yeah, we're gonna.
No, I don't bring fruit, but I have to think about what to bring.
Just kidding. We're gonna get all of our cars in a circle and reverse, and then everyone's gonna lift their trunks, and then we're just gonna have a little party in the parking lot at 7 in the morning. I lost count, but that feels like my arms are falling off, so I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna switch my weight to a plate because the dumbbells are not sitting right on my arms. So.
Olivia is gonna take the conchas.
Oh, Olivia, are you guys gonna carpool? Olivia, are you out there too?
Yeah, I'll take conchas.
Does 7 a.m. work?
7
Okay. I think I'm gonna tell my mom to come again. She went a few years ago. So, all right. Good mornings. Ready and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm gonna go for 12, 11, and 12. All right. Moving on to our next superset. Okay, so we did shoulders, we did the front delts, we did biceps, and then we did lower back. Okay, so for this next one, we're gonna do lateral delts, which is gonna be lateral shoulder raises. We'll do triceps, so we could either do tricep kickbacks where we're here, and then we extend. And then we'll do shoulder front raises, underhand front raises. So that's working on our pecs, okay? And our front delts. So we'll focus on that area. All right, so we still have about another 30 seconds. We'll give ourselves 30 seconds rest right now. Ooh, excuse me. Let me see. So yeah, so the plan for Saturday, if you're able to make it, hopefully you can. We'll just go on a walk, no stress. No one's gonna, put on a bib number and there's no gun start time at the light or anything like that. We're just gonna go and just go for a walk, be moving and just catch up because I know a lot of us haven't met each other in person or haven't seen each other in years. So let's do our lateral raises. So again, 10 to 12. And begin. So we're here 1, and control it on that way down. 2. Oh man, they gave Argentina a penalty. Of course they did. 3. Messi's gonna kick it right now. 4, 5, 6, 7. That wasn't even a penalty. 8. 9. Oh, he missed it. 10, 11, and 12. Ball never lies. All right, so just relax.
Is there a particular spot you guys have been meeting up at?
Yeah, so we've only met once. So, but this spot that we met at, so have you been to Miles Square Park before?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Sorry, my phone was being weird. Yeah, actually, it's down the street from where I live.
okay. So yeah, so I'm like big with maps. So it's on the northwest corner. There's a Starbucks across the street, in that area. So I'll leave an address, but yeah, that's just so we were walking. I believe last time we met, we walked along the north side of like the park. So we went out about a mile and came back a mile. So
Was it like Edinger side?
Carmen, Kathleen.
I haven't been there for a while, even though it's down my street.
Yeah, it's been a few years for me. So
All I know is we're meeting in the parking lot of Starbucks, right?
yeah, I just don't know how many Starbucks are around that park. That's the underhand front raises. Oh no, tricep kickbacks. Sorry. Yeah, I'll look it up right now before we leave. So we'll see what we want to do. So remember, we're bent over, supporting ourselves, elbows at our side, and extend. I used to be in that area all the time about 10 years ago. I used to work at a running shop off Warner and Magnolia. So I was there always, and I would run from that store to Mile Square Park. I would run a loop around the park, and then I would run back to my car. Let's switch, but I forget the street names. So 12 on each arm. Here. I'll find it real quick right now. Mile Square Park. Look at the map. So from what I recall, let me see, is that the Starbucks there? I believe, yeah, it was Edinger and Brookhurst.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Pretty sure. Oh yeah, there's the Starbucks. Yeah. Oh, and they have acai bowls if anyone wants an acai bowl. So, all right, and then now we need our underhand front raises. So now we have our dumbbells down here, almost like the start of our bicep curls, but instead we're bringing the dumbbells straight up. Okay. Ready, and begin. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Very good. We're going to go back to our lateral raises, our tricep kickbacks, and then our front raises. It's supposed to be 85 today. So yeah, just make sure you're hydrating. Alright, lateral raises. Ready? And begin. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Tricep kickbacks. you want to set yourself up, we're here. Ready? Elbow up and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Ooh, I'm starting to get tired. We'll switch sides. Up and begin. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Have our underhand front raises next. Okay. Ready? And begin. So squeeze up top, down, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Very good. All right, we're gonna continue with. We could actually do the next set on the floor. So we're gonna do. Let's get our yoga mats. We're gonna do a little bit of legs, but it's also for our back. So that's why I want to get down to the floor. So we're going to go ahead, do push-ups. So knee assisted push-ups or regular push-ups. And then after that, we're going to do an Arnold press. But the Arnold press is going to be hammer, curl, and then press here. Okay, because usually we've done a bicep curl where we rotate like this. But this time we're just going to do the hammer, curl, rotate, and press. It's almost like a T, if that makes sense. Okay, and then after that, we'll go ahead and do a little bit of work for our back. So we'll do donkey kicks. So that's gonna target our glutes and our back. So that's gonna be down here, okay? But first we'll start off with our push-ups, okay? All right, so push-ups, anywhere between 10 to 15 push-ups, okay? We're on week 7 already, so we should be progressing. All right, ready? 10 to 15, and go. Woo. 15. Alrighty. We're gonna do a free kick right now. Alright, so hammer curl here, rotate, press. Alright, give me 10 to 12. Here we go. Ready? And begin. So here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Very good. Alright, and then next we have donkey kicks. So this is where we're looking down. We're on our floors. Wrists below your shoulders, knees below your hips. And come up and back down. Okay? 10 to 12. Keep your head down for these, please. Ready? And begin. 1. Try to pause. Keep that leg up for about a second before you bring it back down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Alright, once you've done 12, next leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Whew, very good. Give yourself a little bit of rest. Alright, we're going to do that set a second time. And that should put us near the cool down. Maybe we might have time to do one random exercise for upper body. Yeah, I think yesterday was really warm. I think the workouts got me yesterday too. I didn't feel that great this morning. Alright, second set. Push-ups. Go ahead and begin. So again, 10 to 15. Regular push-ups or knee assisted. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Whew. Almost there. Got our hammer curls, Arnold press. Alrighty. Ready? And begin here. Press. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm doing 10. I can feel my neck getting a little tight. Oh. So yeah, listen to your body in case you're not feeling well. Alright, and then we have donkey kicks. Okay, so go ahead with donkey kicks. Wrist right below your shoulders, knees right below your hips. Ready, and begin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Alright, switch legs. Ready and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right. Very good. Whew. Puts us at 9:38. Okay. Oh. So we did shoulders, we did lats, we did back. Let's go ahead and just, this one's not going to be too taxing, but it's for your upper back for a little bit of posture. So this is just, we did these yesterday for the stability and posture class. So this was where we were on our fours and we just stretched out our back and relaxed and then stretched it out and relaxed. Okay, so let's get on our fours. We're here and you're relaxed, and then push, straighten out your arms so your back is active and relaxed, and repeat. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Alright. Let's go ahead and just get on our chair. We're going to do a light stretch. I know not everyone's going to join us for the next class, so we'll give those folks a little bit of a cool down. So just continue with your stretches right now. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. We're gonna stretch for 3 minutes. Oof. I'm gonna do trunk rotations. Oof. All right. So yeah, so just quickly again, I'll be sending an email regarding the re-enrollment if you haven't confirmed yet.